All right, hello everyone. Looks like just about everyone has their videos off and are already muted, so it doesn't look like we have to say that. Welcome. We'll just get started in probably another minute or so. There's still some people coming in, and then we'll get started.
Thank you all for coming. It's great to be here with you, even if it is virtually from afar.
That's right. All right, just a few more people coming in. Looks like. All right, Beth, if you want to go ahead and get started, looks like the waiting room has slowed down a little bit, so I'll just add them as they're coming in.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jimmy. Well, like I said, welcome everybody to our virtual open house for College Park Scholars Life Sciences. We are very happy that we could still find a way to interact with you, even with social distancing going on. I am Dr. Beth Parent. I am the director of College Park Scholars Life Sciences, and I'll talk a little bit more about myself in another slide or two. And so I'm going to also now go ahead and switch over to stop my video. Again, this is one thing hopefully you are all doing to help us with the bandwidth data issues. So the schedule for today's meeting is we're going to talk about the logistics, things about doing a Zoom meeting that are a little different than when we do this in person. And like I mentioned, we'll do some introductions and talk about what is life sciences, this program in particular. And within that, we'll also go over program requirements. And then we will end the session with Q&As, including we have 3 current students who are with us today. So we just want to let you know right away that this session is being recorded. So if you are not willing to be recorded, please go ahead and exit the meeting now. We will distribute this recording later. So again, if you're not willing to be recorded, you can leave and you will be able to access the recording of this later. So you still can get all the information that we're going over today. As Jimmy's already mentioned, and I think most of you are already doing, please keep your video off throughout the session and keep your audio on mute during the session. And then you can unmute when it is time for the Q&A segment of the program. Like I mentioned, this is with bandwidth, better service for everyone if we do it this way. We definitely want to still be able to take questions. So what happens is while I'm giving the talk about how life sciences works and what our requirements are, please go ahead and type questions into the chat box. And we will monitor those. And then again, when we get to the Q&A, we will bring those up. If you happen to have questions that you don't want to answer, have everyone answer, have everyone here now, this privately, when we do our introductions, we are going to also show our email addresses. So keep that in mind as well. We definitely want to be able to answer all of your questions here. So like I mentioned, I'm Dr. Beth Parent, but please call me Beth. You can see my email address right there. It's pretty easy, my last name. I am in my 2nd year of being Director of Life Sciences, which is fantastic. I knew the previous director for many years. I was involved with the program prior to becoming director, so I was very excited when I found out that there would be an opening and a possibility for me to become director of this wonderful program. So I'm kind of new to life sciences, but I'm definitely not new to the University of Maryland. I've been at UMD for over 20 years. I earned my graduate degree here and then became faculty. So half of my job is being program director of life sciences, and also half my job is being faculty in the Department of Biology. I teach some upper level biology courses. That was really great that sometimes I will see life sciences students in later in their career in college. And I'll now let Jimmy introduce himself.
Yes, hello, everyone. My name is Jimmy McClellan, and I serve as the Assistant Director for Life Sciences. I'm just now completing my first year here at UMD working as a full-time professional. Prior to that, I had worked at the University of South Carolina, and before that, working at Virginia Tech, where I also earned my master's degree in education. I'm originally from Florida, so I am new to Maryland, and actually just moved to Maryland from DC in January. So I'm a Marylander now, which I'm very excited to be. And I've had a wonderful time during my first year here working with the life science scholars, and look forward to continuing that for many years to come.
And we just wanted to mention that we also have another person from Scholars here as part of our session today. So Moya Malcolm is also here. So if there are any questions that are more general about Scholars overall, she may be jumping in to answer those questions. So you're aware of that. Okay, so we want to talk about who are our students in College Park Scholars Life Sciences. They're academically talented students who have an interest in the life sciences and want to live in a community of students who have similar interests. So we target to have about 90 students in each cohort every year. It varies a little bit from 85 to sometimes we go closer to 100. So keep in mind that, for instance, this year, there were about 278 students who requested life sciences as their first choice. So we are a very popular program, and sadly for some students, we actually have to turn many students away. So you were selected to be part of this program based on your activities you've done in the past and the potential for fitting into the community. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that we do have a variety of majors in life sciences. So a lot of people think life sciences and they think biology. That is a lot of what life sciences is about. But you do not have a biology major being in the life sciences program. So for instance, only about somewhere around 40% of the students in each cohort are biology majors. We have a variety of other ones like nursing, public health, hearing and speech, environmental science and policy, kinesiology, vet med, psychology, and ones that go quite far away from life sciences like business or computer science or physics. So again, wide variety of majors. We also want to emphasize, I've already said it twice, community, right? We are all about community. And so that is one of the important things about being in a program like College Park Scholars and Life Sciences. There's many studies out there that show that students who have a built-in community like Scholars do much better in the transition from high school to college, as well as throughout college. That's partly because of the friends they make very quickly in this program, in colloquium, the activities we do outside of the classroom, as well as getting to know faculty and staff, like myself, like Jimmy, like other faculty and staff who we invite to be part of our events. Again, a built-in community that makes students feel much more comfortable in their transition to college. And so Scholars is a living learning community. So we do require first-year students who are living on campus to live in Centerville Hall. The exception we make if someone is strictly a commuter, right? So if someone is going to live at home and just come to campus every day for classes, they can still be part of the life sciences community. And we do work hard to try to make sure they are still involved. Now, Centerville Hall is not just home to life sciences. We have 3 other programs: Global Public Health, Science and Global Change, and Science Discovering the Universe make up with us what we call the Discovery Neighborhood. So we all have some studies with curiosity and science, etc. We encourage our second-year students to stay in the community, but is not required for second-year students. And we do have a number of them who do choose to stay in Centerville Hall for a second year. What else makes up our community? We have a very active peer mentor program. What happens is at the end of first year, students apply to be a peer mentor for their second year, for their sophomore year. Life Sciences always has many students who apply to be peer mentors, and we have a large peer mentor group, which is very active and wonderful at helping students transition. About for peer mentor, 7 or 8 first year start with them. So we like to keep it still pretty small so that each of the new first years gets personal attention from their peer mentor. And the peer mentors help with so many things. We can see here that they're actually helping out on our service day at the beginning of the semester. They help the students integrate into life sciences, into scholars in general, and the university overall. They're involved in some of our other activities that you'll learn about later, like Playfair. We ask them to give a tour of the campus before classes start, so students feel comfortable finding things in the classrooms, etc. So a lot of the activities that I'm going to talk about, the peer mentors are involved in. So what is, or sometimes we call it class? It is a multidisciplinary academic program. Right? So like I mentioned, there are a variety of majors, and we want to address a variety of life science topics. And I'll talk about that just a little more on the next slide. So it's to have a very broad perspective and appreciation of the life sciences. So we do fully support all of our students in their career goals and their professional development, like I mentioned, that we have these wide variety of majors, but we are not, say, a pre-med program or a pre-dental program or a pre-health program. We will touch on things about medicine, about human health, about human physiology, but we also talk about things like ecology and conservation, etc. And again, we want to support everyone in their professional development. We bring in the Career Center the first semester of colloquium and have them talk to them about, you know, deciding if they are in the right major, where they're going next, how they get to where they want to be in the future. But also Jimmy and myself are resources as well. We are very open to meeting with students about whatever topics they might want to talk about. So as I mentioned last slide, it is a broad understanding and appreciation of life science. We can talk all the way down to molecular level, cells, organisms, ecology, conservation. And I always like to say life sciences doesn't live in a bubble, so we don't just talk about those specific topics. We also look at their impact of science on medicine, on values, on decision making in the government. So this semester in colloquium, we're using the University of Maryland's first year book, which is called Demagoguery and Democracy. And so we're looking at how demagoguery works in the life science. In the past, we've brought in guest speakers in business, journalism, to talk about ethics, talk about politics, etc. So again, keeping it broad. Our program, on the academic side of it, we do have first year colloquium. So this is all 90 or so students in the cohort taking a 1-credit class together in fall, and explore a variety of life sciences topics in different ways. So here you're seeing actually at the end of the fall semester, students presenting their final project, where they had the choice of a topic they wanted to narrow in on and learn more about, and then present to everybody else. We also, as I mentioned somewhat, it's all about helping students transition to college, professional development, careers. So again, we bring in the Career Center. We do a talk about having success at college, meaning a lot of people may need to change their study habits, things like that. We're always trying to provide resources that are not just about life sciences topics or their major, but more broadly helping them in their transition to college and also beyond college as well. So again, fall and spring of first year, We have a colloquium with everyone together. Second year, we do it a little differently. You take a 1-credit class in fall where the students are split up into 4 sections, no more than 25 students in a section, so that we can have some great discussions. So we can do some active learning, small group projects, etc. This is just a list of some of the topics that have been done in the past. So a lot of interesting things, again, one way or another related to life sciences. And then the final semester of the program, spring of sophomore year, you take a 2-credit class about your practicum experience. So students may have completed the practicum experience prior to that, or they may be doing it while taking the class, spring of second year. So what is the practicum experience? It can vary. The most common things people do are doing laboratory research on or off campus, some type of community service that is life sciences related, or they may be doing clinical, people shadowing, being a scribe, etc. So the point of the practicum is that students have an experience that is life sciences related, but also hopefully career related. So they can get a taste of a career they may be interested in pursuing after they graduate from the University of Maryland. And the highlight of all of this is that in May of their sophomore year, students present their work in poster form at an all scholars academic showcase. So it's a fantastic event where we take over pretty much one of our newer buildings, take over the whole thing, and have, you know, close to 1,000 scholars in all the 12 different programs presenting their practicum work. So, and we can see here President Lowe does generally attend it. Okay, so we talked about the particular classes that are very scholar specific, but we also have what we call supporting classes. Again, it's a life sciences program, so we need you, no matter what your major might be, to take some other life sciences related courses. So we have, you can see the list here, principles biology, ecology and evolution, molecular and cell bio, Gen Chem 1. Now, the important part about those is notice the S sections, right? Notice that we have an S next to 161S, etc. Those sections are particularly for life sciences students, all right? So these are reserved. And for 161, 171, that is the lab. 132 is also a lab. And 131 is the lecture, but it's particularly the discussion section that go with it. So this is really helpful for students to be in these classes together and to know, you know, when they have a quiz coming up, when they have a lab report due, they can form study groups in these classes. So it's found to be really helpful for them to know other people in their classes who also are probably living down the hall for them or living on another floor of Centerville, and to get together and work on these, what can be pretty challenging classes together. And another course that everyone at the University of Maryland is required to take is English 101, academic writing. We also have our own S section of that as well, for similar reasons, but just for a class that is outside of the sciences. Okay, so that is academic program. Again, if you have questions about this, please send it to the chat and we can answer them when we get later in our session. So I also wanted to talk about things that we do outside of the classroom, right? Because yes, we are a living learning program, but not all learning takes place in the classroom, as well as we emphasize community. And we have a lot of activities that help to build communities. So one big thing for us in life sciences is our fall retreat. This is mandatory for first-year students, and it is Labor Day weekend. So we just always like to get that out there early, that in case some families might do family activities Labor Day weekend. This one year it will have to be coming on our camping trip. So it's in Western Maryland. It is cabin camping. They're not tents. And it is a beautiful site that we go to. We do amazing activities all weekend. We go on a hike. There's a lovely lakefront for canoeing. We make apple crisp. There's a talent show, which is always very amusing. And besides all those fun activities, the students start building community here. The peer mentors come along. We bring, besides Jimmy and myself, we bring other faculty and staff along on this trip. There's group meals, there's working together to plan the meals, and a lot of time for icebreakers and other kind of community building throughout this event. So we have so many sophomores and even sometimes juniors and seniors who ask if they can come on this camping trip again because they loved it so much when they did it. And it's where a lot of people make some of their first friends at college and friends they have for the rest of college as well as afterwards.
Beth, if I can just pause you for 1 second, we have two
Sure.
questions. So I just want to, they're related to the classes that you have to take in Scholars.
Okay.
So the first one is, can supporting classes, oh wait, it just moved. Can supporting classes replace other similar classes that I would have to take for my major, or are they in addition to those classes?
Okay, so if someone is a biology major, which again is the biggest chunk of our majors, they will be taking these 3 science classes as part of their major. Another thing we do is if your major does not require all 3 of these, we will allow you to substitute out one of these classes for another life science related class. So for instance, biochemistry, you would only take 170 and the Gen Chem class, but not 160. So you can substitute out another chemistry class, a different biology class, etc. If you're in a major that maybe is farther away from biology and none of these are required for your major, we would ask that you take, again, at least 2 of these 3, and then you can substitute something else for a 3rd one. There are, say, anthropology classes that might qualify as, again, something life sciences related.
Cool. And then Nicole, I think that probably answers your question as well. And is it required for scholars to take all these supporting classes? So short answer, yes, but if you want to sub one out of the 3 science classes, you are able to do that, but it has to be related to life sciences. And then another question, Beth, you probably know this a little better than I do. For those 4 classes that are up on the screen right now, are they generally big lecture hall classes or are they smaller seminar style?
Okay, so for the 3 science classes, the lecture portion, which would be 160, 170, and the 131 for chemistry, tend to be bigger classes. Those are going to be bigger lecture classes. But the 161, 171, 132, those are lab sections that are smaller. So generally maybe 20 to 24 students in the lab sections. And also Chem 131, it has a lecture and a discussion, and the discussion sections would be smaller. Now, English 101 is very small. Those are always capped at 19 students. So yeah, so again, the lectures for the science classes will definitely be big. The labs will be small. The discussion for chemistry will be small, and English 101 will be small.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so again, talking about our program activities outside the classroom, our fall retreat. Also, one of the things we do is local field trips, taking a small group of students. So some of our examples from recently, one of the wonderful things about being so close to DC is that we can metro in and go to the Smithsonian. We can go to the zoo, the Botanic Gardens. We have institutions like the Carnegie Institute for Science that present fantastic lectures that are life sciences related. So we take advantage of this. We offer 5 field trips every semester. The students are required to go to just one of them, but we have many students who go to 3, 4, sometimes even 5 of them because they just find them all so interesting. And so they continue to keep going to them after they've satisfied the requirement of going to one of them. Another reason in our program is we do a weekend in New York City. We have definitely some activities that are still life sciences related, like the National Geographic Ocean Odyssey or going to the Museum of Natural History. And our schedule does change year after year, and we try to mix it up a little bit. But we also do some things that are not life sciences related. For instance, last year we went to Ellis Island. And every year we go to a Broadway show, which is excellent. And we highly subsidize this trip so that what the students pay is actually only a fraction of what we are paying for the trip overall. And it's great fun. We leave on a Friday afternoon and come back on a Sunday afternoon, evening. Another thing that we do a lot of in life sciences in particular are optional travel study trips. So we're very proud of this aspect of our program. Again, this is for a limited number of students, but we offer them every year basically so that students have opportunity to go on them. And it's not just strictly for first year and sophomore students. When someone is a junior or senior, which we call an LS alum, they also can go on the trips as well. So one of our big trips is Alaska. Every other summer we go to Alaska. This is one I have not gone on yet since, again, I'm newer to the program. But we hike, we drive all over the state, we hike. One of the things we do on these trips is actually we camp a lot of the trip. We spend some time in hostels or hotels, but we also camp. That helps keep the cost. And also, of course, the point is that we want to be seeing these fantastic things. And, you know, interesting things like watching the salmon trying to go upstream. And in the past, there's actually been, you know, sightings of lots of wildlife. So Alaska is one of our summer trips, again, every other summer. What we do in summer is Australia. So we do make the big trip to Australia. This is a 19-day trip. Alaska is 2 weeks. We do start out in Sydney, but then we do head out into the outback. We head into the rainforest. We do see crocodiles from afar, safely in a boat. We do have wallabies that hop through our campgrounds, and a lot of amazing scenery as well. So again, that's every other summer. Another one we do is Hawaii. We do in winter break in January. We actually do this with 2 other programs. So Science and Global Change and the Economy, Technology, and the Environment. And we, for this trip, we actually hit 3 islands. We started out in Maui, then we did about a week on the Big Island, and then we ended with a few days in Oahu. Again, 2 weeks total. So that one's only every other year in winter break in January. Okay, and besides all of that, we like to say LS for L, which means Life Sciences for Life. So as I mentioned, we have you know, people who come on our travel study trips after they've technically you know, graduated from the program. We have students who want to come on the camping trip after they've earned their citation program. We do a lot of other fun activities like LS Prom, we call it, which is in the end of the spring semester, where the first years and second years come together to celebrate the second years earning their citation, as well as the first years finishing their first year in college. We do a junior citation party in the fall for, again, we technically don't know people who earn their citation until summer, so that next fall we have a party for them. We don't want them to, you know, we don't want to forget about them. They don't want them to forget about us. So we also do a senior happy hour right before, at the end of finals week, before the seniors are going to go to commencement. And another thing we have is an alum Facebook page so that people can keep in touch with us as well as with their fellow LSers. So again, LS for L. We keep it going even after the 2 years of the program is complete. So we want to wrap up with a couple things and then head into our question and answer session. So May 1st deadline for confirming your enrollment and to apply for housing and dining. So please keep that in mind. We have a couple of websites here where you can get additional information about housing and dining, etc. We also have a wonderful overview of scholars on the scholars main page with a message from Marilee Lindman, as well as Moya is in that message too, to talk more about scholars in general. Also, the next steps would be to sign up for one of the scholar-specific summer orientations, which we have found out just recently will be online as well. And if you have any AP or IB scores, it's really important to send those to the university as soon as possible, so that when you do come to orientation and get advised, those scores are already in your record. So here's some Scholars General social media and also a very important email address if you want to ask a general scholars question. And at this point, I am going to turn it over to Jimmy. So thank you for listening.
Yes. So I've been trying to answer some questions as we're going along, but now is the time for our student panel to show up. So if myself, Beth, Sanjit, Lisa, and Sean, if we want to unhide ourselves so that people can see who's talking to them. What we'll do is I'll first have the students introduce themselves, and then I'll ask them a question to just get us started today. But please, 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 if there's a question you want to ask to current students, especially any students that are watching right now, we would be more than happy to let the students answer those for you. They obviously have a different perspective than Beth and I do, so we want to make sure that we're giving that perspective. You can still ask questions that are directed toward Beth and myself, and we can parse out those two. But we'll start first. We'll start with, we'll do it in order of Sanjit, Sean, and then Lisa. If you can just introduce yourself, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what high school you went to, because there might be some other alums from your high school here, and you can start making those connections. And then what year you are as well. And we'll start with that. And if there's anything else you want to add, you can do that too. So we'll start with Sanjit.
All right. Hey, guys. My name is Sanjit. I am a sophomore in the life sciences program, and my major is physiology and neurobiology and psychology double major. And I'm pursuing a double degree, actually. And also, my career goal is psychiatry. That's what I'm trying to go into. So I'm pre-med currently. And I hope everyone that's watching is safe currently.
Thank you. Sean?
Hi, my name is Sean. I am a freshman in LS, and my major is physiology and neurobiology as well, and I plan to also double major in government and politics sometime later this year. I am from Rockville, Maryland, and I went to Wheaton High School.
Cool, thank you. And Lisa?
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a freshman psych major. I'm also from Rockville. I also went to Wheaton High School. But yeah, I'm studying to be a correctional psychologist.
Cool, thank you.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I went to Clarksburg High School in Montgomery County, so we're all MoCo people, I guess.
All right, cool. All right, so as we're waiting for some questions to come in, and I know there are questions out there, so please, 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 this is your chance to ask them. No question is silly, nothing is a wrong question to ask, this is your time, especially our current students. So we'll start first by asking what your most memorable experience in Scholars has been so far, and we'll do the same order again, if that's okay, but you can say pass if you're not ready.
Should I go now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the most memorable moment for me was probably the camping trip, because the first year, especially because I actually performed in the talent show that year. I'm not telling you guys my talent, but yeah, it was my first time meeting like a bunch of new people, and I didn't know what to expect. But when I came out, when the weekend ended, I made so many new friends, and and I've actually made most of my friends through LS, which I'm really happy about.
Cool, thank you.
Probably my most memorable memory was also the camping trip, but it was, and most specifically was the bus ride there, because on one of the two buses, one of them actually had some problems. So, and when we stopped trying to get it fixed, I just met a lot of people there, and it was just a really nice time, even if the bus did break down for a bit.
My favorite memory in LS is we take a lot of similar classes together, which means we're in the same classes, we have the same teachers, we have the same tests on the same days and stuff. And right outside Centerville, there's the Cambridge Community Center, which is just a place that's open for students to go in. They have classes there sometimes, but mostly us LSers take up all the classrooms there. Like in the middle of the night when we're staying up late studying, we'll just take over our classroom, like right all over the whiteboards, all hang out and study together. Those are probably like one of my favorite memories is just studying for tests because I just like made a lot of friends that way.
Cool, thank you. We have another question from Nicole who says, if you could describe your College Park Scholars experience in one word or a few words, maybe a phrase, what would you say so far? And there's only 3, so we don't have to go in order. So if you know, then I'm sure we can make it work. If you want to speak out of turn.
I would say the first word that comes to mind is community because in high school I was part of like a lot of clubs and like I had a lot of different like friend groups and I was worried coming to such a big school that it would be hard for me to find that, but LS like emphasizes community so much. Like we are just one cohesive group of people, like everyone's like family, everyone is friends. Yeah, that's one word that I would say.
I'd probably say fresh. And the reason I say that is because, you know, like I already know all you high school like guys, you guys are probably tired of everyone from your high school. So like I'm just being real, but yeah. So yeah, but with life sciences, there are only like probably like max 5 people from your high school in there, at least in my year. And you get to meet so many different people like I was talking about earlier. So it's kind of a fresh start to like meet a bunch of new people and finally like branch out instead of being stuck with the same people from high school.
Cool, thank you. And I see Moya's kind of popping in the group to answer some of the questions about virtual orientation, how that will be happening. We have a slide on that, right, Beth, if we want to get back to that, just to have the dates up. Do we have that?
Yes, the dates of orientation we do. 1 second, let me close my chat so I can do this. Okay. Yes.
And then for the students, question, how does the LLC, or Living Learning Community, add to the experience of the academic side of things? So how would you say that this has enhanced your academic experience at UMD?
For me, it definitely helped with the transition to college life. Like I know in high school, I didn't have the same kind of like academic mindset. So I would study for tests, but it wouldn't be that important for me, like how much to collaborate with others and just like how important it is to actually learn. And ever since being part of LS, and like I've noticed this for even other scholars programs, but you just really focus on the academics because like you're taking the same classes a lot of times and the same like supporting classes with other people, so you guys basically just like learn to love learning because you're doing it together with your friends.
Cool.
Nice. Very nice.
Any others?
Yeah, so the Living Scholars is just really helpful for academics because there's so many people who are like going to be taking classes that are very similar to yours, and we'll be taking the same classes in the future as well. So it's really good to like get these friends in these friend groups that you'll stay with and that you can just continue to study with. So it'll be like really easy and easier to study with more people instead of having to like sometimes find new people in every class to study with, and that can be kind of like just like socially exhausting trying to just make new friends. Like it is good, but just like, you know, having the same group of friends is also a big positive.
Thank you.
Also, I'd like to add on with the academic side of things, another thing that also helps out is you get a lot of advice from upperclassmen. So like you have a lot of people like recommending what classes to take, which professor is better, and like things like that. And that can be really useful because that gives you a head start basically compared to everyone else. Because like when you go to college, you don't really know who the good professors are until someone actually tells you if they're good professors or not.
Cool, thank you. We have a few minutes, so I'm gonna kind of pick and choose some questions here, but what would you say has been your biggest obstacle being a part of life sciences, or something maybe you've even overcome since you've been a part of it in your first or second year?
I can't really think of anything. That's not a very good answer, but I personally can't think of any obstacles right now. So if anyone else would like to go, I have no idea. I found things pretty smooth and I transitioned really well, but
One thing that I would say is, because I mean, I've completed both years at this point, or going to complete both years. One thing that I would say is like the difficulty of the classes, like regarding biggest obstacles for you in LS. I guess that's more of a general thing rather than like specifically life sciences. But difficulty wise, like the classes get a lot more difficult as you go into college, but it also helps out that you have friends that are taking the same classes as you.
Great. And to, I guess, just think about that question a little bit differently, because I know you may or may not be able to think of obstacles right now. What do you think that life sciences did or set up for you to do to not have so many obstacles? How did it make it maybe a little bit easier for you because you were a part of this program and not a part of this program? Like Lisa, my UNIV class, for example, we can speak highly about that. Right.
There you go.
that's true. Apart from having the camping trip being the first weekend, or technically second weekend, but first weekend after classes, you basically just get like thrown into all your friends, and like you meet a bunch of upperclassmen who are all telling you things about school and about like how to succeed at UMD. And I was also part of Jimmy's UNIV class, so I got to know people in LS in a smaller group outside of our colloquium class, which is literally everyone, like all 60 students sitting in class at the same time. But in Jimmy's UNIV class, I got to know like a smaller group of 20 people. Also on my floor, I lived on 2 South. Woo, go 2 South. That's the best floor. Just so you know, Centerville, everybody knows 2 South is the best floor. So if you get on 2 South, you're lucky. Everyone on that floor is from LS. So we knew each other right from the first day, right from the first moment we got to campus. We met our RA and got to know each other on the floor. We had like our doors open. People walk around Centerville. Upperclassmen will walk into your room and say hi. Tell you that they lived in your room, and then you strike up conversation. It's just being in Centerville and like being thrown into this community so soon when you get to college, which is what really like it didn't give me a time to be scared. Like I didn't have enough time.
Cool. Thank you. And I'm just going to move on to one other question because I think we just have time for one more. And I think it's a good note to end on is, does life sciences allow you to explore any other passions? And the answer is yes. So let us know what other passions it's helped you explore.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, with life sciences, it's since like my first major is physiology and neurobiology, the classes that you have to take already like stack up with it. So I'm already completing them, so it doesn't like add on extra burden. It's allowed me to be in something that's like really good for me and still like help me let me do another major besides my science major, which is just you don't see that often with the honors program. They have like all these other classes that I think are a lot more worth than the scholars courses that you have to take.
Any other thoughts?
Wanted to say that just I didn't know that you don't have to take all 3 classes. I didn't know that you could substitute one of them. And for me being a psych major, I didn't need 2 of them. But because I took those classes, it opened up some like other things for me that I didn't even know. Like I hated biology in high school, but because I took that first bio class freshman year, now I love it. And I'm going past like my psych requirements for bio, and I'm taking other bio classes, and also the chem class that I took for, last semester. I can like explore a neuroscience minor with that. So yeah, it really did like open up new doors for me.
Cool.
What I would have to say is that like it definitely does let you explore other passions, because I know it sounds like it's a community, and we do encourage like for a community to be formed, but you also have the choice of like joining other communities as well. It's not like you're stuck with LS people forever. Like I know people that are part of Greek life. I know people that are part of other clubs. I'm trying to think. It's still possible to be a part of different things and explore like interests. For example, like music or something. I know some people that were like in the marching band, for example. So you can definitely explore other passions because it's also not too much of a time commitment, especially if you're a biology major. You're already taking all the classes that you need for life sciences along with your major. So it's not like you're adding any extra work on. And then the scholars colloquium, the first year and the second year, they aren't too much work. Obviously, you do have to put in the effort, but it's not like you're bombarded with like so much work that you're overwhelmed and you can't do anything else. It's definitely manageable.
Great.
All right. So if you all feel comfortable, if you want to, what might be nice is if you can provide your emails. So put your name and your email in the chat box. If anybody wants to reach out to you, it's your option to do that. You don't have to. But now I'll let Beth wrap us up for our time today.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming today. We wish that we could have seen your smiling faces in person, but of course that's not possible right now. So we're very happy you came. We hope you got a lot of information that helps you learn more about what we think is a really wonderful, awesome program. Jimmy and I both love that this is our job, is to help students in their transition and get to know them. And you can see I have our email addresses here. So if you have some questions that you thought of afterwards, please feel free to email one or both of us. That would be great. We would be very happy to respond to you. So I hope all of your family and loved ones are safe and healthy during this time. Again, thank you taking time to spend a little bit of it with us.